Rev up your engines!
Tyler S. And Tyler says, Scotty, what's the best type of brake pad to buy? Now, when I was a kid, brake pads were made out of asbestos. It takes heat. It stops really well. It doesn't have any problem with overheating. They were nice and silent. But of course, asbestos causes lung cancer. It's against the law in the United States to sell that stuff. They still sell it in some parts of the world, but they don't anymore because it causes lung cancer. Over the years, decades ago when they started getting rid of the asbestos, they didn't know how to make brake pads. So they made them, and some of them were fiberglass, and they made horrible noises when they were almost brand new. They coated them. When the coating came off, they made noise. But today, ceramic pads are the best. And if you want the best of the best, if they make Akebono, A-K-E-B-O-N-O pads, use them because they seem to make the best ceramic mixture. They last a long time, they stop well, and they really don't make any noises, which is great, having one that doesn't make any noise and lasts a long time. So the good ceramic ones are the best ones to use these days. Sebastian Moya, and he says, what car should I get, an 04 Toyota Camry LE or a 2007 Lexus ES350B? Depends on what you got in your pocketbook. How much you want to spend. The Toyota Camry LE, those things can run forever. They're nice cars. They ride quite well. The Lexus ES350B is more a luxury car. It's going to get worse gas mileage. It's going to cost more money to fix as it ages because the parts cost more for the luxury cars than they do for the normal cars, even though it's the same company making them. Toyota makes both of them. How much money you want to spend, how much you want to spend for insurance. It's going to be cheaper to insure the Camry than it is the Lexus. You got to put all that together and decide what you want. They're kind of apples and oranges there. I mean, me, if I wanted dependable transportation, I'd get the Camry. If you wanted a luxury car, get the Lexus. You're just going to pay more for the Lexus. Even though it's the same company that makes them. The parts still cost a lot more for the Lexus than they do for the Camry. Sonny Hool, and Sonny says, Scotty, my 2008 Dodge Avenger gets terrible gas mileage, like 350 kilometers a tank in the city. Anything I can do to improve it? In the city, it gets horrible gas mileage. It's probably the way you're driving. I remember when I was a young mechanic and I was learning from my grandfather. We had a customer at a Buick, and he said the same thing. I'm getting horrible gas mileage in town. So my grandfather looked at it and he said, it's running perfectly fine. Let's take it for a ride. He went for a ride with the customer, and the guy would just slam on the brakes when he got to a stop sign. Then he would slam on the accelerator and peel out going. And my grandfather said, it's the way you're driving. It's not the car. That's just the way it is if it runs perfectly fine. Mechanics like myself have very expensive equipment that we can take a car like that, hook it up, road test it, then we can analyze all the live and Mode 6 data, tell you if it's running right, if it's set up the correct way. But if you drive real fast in town in that car, you're going to get horrible gas mileage. That's just the way that it goes. As an example, for a week I had a Shelby Cobra GT500. I got 3 miles a gallon driving it in town because I was driving like a maniac. And that's just the way those cars are going to be if you drive them hard. Shelley Harding says, Scotty, I got a 99 VW Beetle. She needs a little work on his high mileage. Should I put money into her? No. Unless you're nuts about the things and you want to keep it forever, and if it's a standard transmission, because they're so much better with the standard transmissions. Their automatic transmissions are garbage. If it is an automatic transmission, definitely don't put money into it. It's not worth putting into it. You'd put many times more of what the car's worth doing a transmission over. I know guys that have the diesel version with the standard transmission, and they like them. They keep them up, and if they like that vehicle, hey, keep putting money in fixing it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's a gasoline with an automatic transmission, don't put money into it. It's not worth it. JC says, I got a 2002 Lincoln Navigator. It's hard to start, but it runs fine after it warms up. Any ideas? When a car is hard to start up, but then it warms up and it runs fine, you got to figure out why it's not starting. It's either not getting correct spark to the engine, correct fuel to the engine. So you got to pinpoint which one it is. I've got a video fixing a car that cranks but doesn't start up. You can watch that. That'll show you what you can test. You can test the fuel pressure. You can test all kinds of things. Knowing Lincolns, and that thing's 17 years old, a lot of times it's just a weak fuel pump, which you can have pressure tested. Give it to a mechanic, let it sit overnight, and when he tries to start it, he'll have a gauge on the fuel pressure. And if he sees out it's got no fuel pressure or they're low fuel pressure, then you know it needs a new fuel pump. Pray it's something that simple, because it can be worn out fuel injectors, it can be vacuum, it can be all kinds of things. But you'd want to pressure test the fuel pump first. That's the most logical thing. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.